Flow tackles a huge problem you will have encountered when you work in post-production and mix music. You mix a voice, you have it nicely compressed and it should sit nicely in the mix, but it doesn't. You end up volume automating like crazy to have that voice feel consistent. The issue is not so much actual level consistency, but perceived level. This exact issue is why Paolo Pasquariello started developing in collaboration with PSP Audioware what is now Flow. This compressor uses a more psychoacoustic approach to compress. The result is that you can really slam an audio track but still have a very musical and coherent sound. Another big benefit of Flow is that it can sound really transparent. You don't hear compression. When you use Flow on a voice, you might not notice a difference right away. That only becomes clear when you compare with a normal compressor. Let me read part of the manual with some background music behind it. I will compare between Flow and a regular compressor. Both will use similar settings to keep the comparison fair, and phrases will be repeated between Flow and that regular compressor. I will record my voice voiceover style. From the very first prototype made with real-time DSP, the results were promising, and my ears finally heard what they wanted to hear. Consistency. A shout was compressed much more than a whisper. Even at the same input level. A distorted guitar was controlled more aggressively than a clean guitar. And it was almost frightening to see how the resulting waveforms visually seemed to have even more dynamics than those at the input. The difference is clear. Flow sounds more coherent and you have more authority in the voice. With the normal compressor you really hear compression, and with these settings there's even distortion. Now of course you can use different settings with the regular compression, but then you end up automating the level after quite a bit. And that's the whole point of why using Flow is so great. It shines on everything from proper recordings to very demanding tracks. I want to refer back to that quote of the manual where it says that it was almost frightening to see the waveform seem to have more dynamics while it sounds more coherent. I can demonstrate that with the next acoustic guitar snippet. The above track is the uncompressed audio track. Here below is rendered with Flow. Check these peaks in the rendered track and now listen. The rendered track sounds more coherent without a doubt, but you see more dynamics. With Flow you get all controls you expect and need in a compressor. On top of that you can use RMS detection, auto release and look ahead. There's a brick wall limiter included as well. This is very sweet when you have for instance compression set to lead through transients and still want to grab some spikes. Flow is not restricted to voice only, it works on all sorts of audio. Drums especially is worth mentioning. Here's an example. The first time I checked Flow was actually on the master bus of a song. Here is that track. You can dial in Flow to really slam and use the mix dial to blend that sound in with the uncompressed audio. You get some nice punch and push with this combo. Flow is extremely powerful. Don't hesitate to check it out. There's a link in the description of this video. For PSP Audioware, I'm Marlon of White Noise Studio and I'll see you in the next one.